Hello, this is Ron Paul. There are few greater threats to our liberty, indeed to our way of life, than the global warming extremists and their socialist ideas. We must defeat this effort. John Tate, president of Campaign for Liberty, has a plan to do just that. Please listen to John's message about cap and tax. I hope Campaign for Liberty can count on you for this important battle. This is Ron Paul.
Thanks, Ron. The radical big government power grab known as cap and trade, or cap and tax as I prefer to call it, is very much alive and kicking and could come up for a key vote in the Senate as soon as next month. And you and I both know President Obama would love nothing more than to sign this radical bill into law. To put it bluntly, our backs are against the wall in the U.S. Senate, which is our last chance at stopping this dangerous bill. You see, the U.S. Senate has long been filled with big government-loving, freedom-stealing politicians from both parties. So you and I don't have a moment to lose. You see, if passed, cap and tax would give the federal government unprecedented control over the private sector and our very lives. Big government bureaucrats in Washington would effectively be able to tax businesses for emitting more carbon dioxide than they think is, quote, appropriate, end quote. Just as bad, they'll be able to demand you change your way of living, forcing you to redo your own house with government-approved light bulbs, refrigerators, water heaters, toilets, air conditioners, and whatever else they can dream up. And don't think for a second the federal government won't send around jackbooted green goons to make sure you're complying. As a matter of fact, the cap and tax bill specifically authorizes just such intrusive home visits by government goons. And that's not all. You see, cap and tax is also just another excuse for big government to reach its greedy little hands into our wallets. The bill would have the effect of increasing taxes by $650 billion, virtually guaranteeing that our economy gets even worse and never recovers. It would result in over 1 million lost American jobs, as energy-intensive industries are forced to shut their doors or move overseas. And don't believe the lie. This bill has nothing to do with the environment. There's absolutely no scientific consensus that carbon dioxide, the so-called pollutant big government chicken littles constantly yelp about, causes global warming. In fact, 95% of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere occurs naturally. So what is cap and tax really about? Raw government power. Government power to tax. Government power to enter your home to check for compliance. And government power to control the economy and our very lives. So it's vital you act today. I've had special petitions made up for you that I hope you'll agree to sign and return to me immediately. As you'll see, these petitions demand your U.S. senators vote against the radical cap and tax bill. As I mentioned, the Senate is our only chance to stop this radical bill. But our job won't be easy. You see, just like when the bill passed the House, there are pro-cap and tax senators in both parties. But there are also a lot of very nervous senators in both parties. They're nervous because they know just how many of their constituents they'll be throwing out of work should they vote for cap and tax. They're afraid of what you'll do to them if they vote cap and tax into law. So today, our job is to knock those senators off the fence and squarely onto our side by sending this one very loud and very clear message to the U.S. Senate. Any senator who votes for cap and tax should look for another job. Period. Here's how Campaign for Liberty plans to do that, hopefully with your help. First, we're already busy contacting up to 5 million activists nationwide through mail, phones, and email to generate petitions demanding U.S. senators vote against cap and tax. And that's just the beginning. With your help, we'll work the blogs and write guest editorials. We'll brief influential writers and columnists who will be sympathetic to our efforts. We'll work the talk radio station and grant local media interviews to further turn up the pressure on Congress. And a few days before the vote, if we have the resources, we'd also like to run hard-hitting, targeted radio, TV, and newspaper ads calling on senators to vote against cap and tax. Now, none of this is going to be easy or cheap. But with your help, I'm confident we can turn up so much grassroots pressure on our U.S. senators, they'll find out what real heat feels like. So in addition to your signed petitions, I also hope you'll agree to make a generous contribution to Campaign for Liberty. I know times are hard, but this fight is absolutely critical. So can I count on you to join the fight to stop cap and tax by signing and returning your petition and by making a generous contribution to help campaign for liberty in this crucial fight?